An item, and one of my friends was having issues getting it loaded on her wall. It is a wall sconce that I made to go with this castle room that I did textures for, and sometimes the items don't load where you expect them to. Like this wall sconce loads on the floor, and that's because the person that designed the mesh used a chair or a floor item as the base for it when they did the mesh, so it loads on the floor, and you've got to scoot it up to the wall. So get to the closest standing spot that's built into the room where you think you want to put the candle. Now I've already loaded one up here onto my wall. I've got a few going up the stairwell. There's one there, and one there. I already got them into place and locked them into their place, but I'll go ahead and remove this one. Got to unlock it first, and put a new one up there. I guess I should keep that open because I'm going to need this. So I'll go ahead and remove this one. So what I'm going to do then is load a new one, and it's going to land on the floor here. See this down here? This is where it starts out. So it's not, you can't move it around and just have it jump up on the wall. It won't work. So you've got to turn it. So what I'm going to do is, if you use this tool up here, you can get it angled the right way. And then what you want to do is use the same tool, and if you hold down your shift key, hold down the shift key and use your mouse, that turns it side to side. If you hold down the control key, that will turn it so you can get it to the angle that you want. Now I've got to go back over and look at it because I think I've got it a little bit crooked. Nope, it's straight. Okay. Sometimes you have to do this a little bit, to adjust it for the wall. But again, use your control key with this particular item. Use your control and shift keys with this tool to get things to turn the way that you want them. Okay, now I've got it pretty much straight up and down, but I need to get it off of the floor. So I'm holding down my shift key, and I'm using this tool up here. Hold down the shift key, and that will lift it up off of the floor. So now I've got it up about the height that I want it. Now I'm going to move it toward the wall, and you can watch and see when it starts to go into the glass. You'll know you've gone too far, or whatever you're putting it on. Let's see. Okay, now I've got it there. Now I'm going to hold down my shift key, or my control key, and scoot it. Use your mouse. Scoot it over to the right. Now you're going to go back and look. It's a little ways away from the wall. So I'm going to move it toward the wall again. Make sure it doesn't go through. And I'll scoot it up a little bit. And that's, again, your shift key. And use your mouse. You can drag things up to where you want them. Double check to make sure it's against the wall. It's pretty close. And then you can use this tool to lock things in place so that if you're moving something else, you don't accidentally grab the wrong item. And there it's in its spot again. So that's how to move things. Just remember, I'll load another one. Now, like this one that I did, I believe loads on the wall like it's supposed to. I don't think that one loads on the floor. I'm not sure where it went. Sometimes you have to use it should have landed near her somewhere. There it is. Okay. This one also loaded on the floor. That's a good example. Sometimes things don't land where you expect them to, so you've got to use this tool and just mouse around your avatar to see if you can find it. Once you get this thing, then you know you have found it. I'll go ahead and close this bottom here. And now go back up here to this tool, and we want to, I don't need to turn it that way. I've got my control key now. Use your shift key and get it to the right angle. Sometimes you have to reload things again if they don't end up facing the direction you want them to, because they won't. You can't. There's no way to get them over to the wall that you want them on. So I'm going to try moving this and see what happens. Sometimes they'll shift around depending on where you move them to. I want to get it over here on this wall, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to turn it to get it the right way. Nope. This one is not going to turn the way I want it to. So I would need to reload this, or I would reload it. I could probably mess with it enough by turning it different ways, but sometimes it's easier just to stand in a different spot and load an item again, and it will load. See, I can go under here by the door and try loading it again. Oop, making you guys seasick. And see where it loads and which direction it loads in. Loaded the same way. So we would have, that's that same one. Let me delete that. I'm sorry if I'm confusing you. Okay, let's try this one. Nope, it did the same thing. I don't know if this is gonna, there we go. Okay, so you can turn it. So now it's facing the way you want it to, it's just not on the wall. So hold down your shift key. And that, see, it depends on which orientation it is. This one, you need to hold down the control key to flip it the way you want it. That's probably almost straight up and down. Then you can use this tool, and that will move it up and down. Sometimes you can get these things to move where you want them, depending on where they're, there it is. You just have to move them around a little bit sometimes to get them jump into a spot so that you can load them where you want them to show up. So then you can use your shift key again with this one. Again, to rotate these things, you have to use your mouse, this tool here, and depending on where it has landed and which direction it's facing, you'll hold down your control key to make it, you know, move like that, or your shift key, and that'll rotate it side to side. And again, sometimes you have to jump an item to another spot in the room so that it will flip the way that you want it to get it loaded to a wall. These can be a little tricky, but sometimes there's no choice because the item that you wanted, I'm going to delete that, started out as a chair or something that would normally load on the floor, and you know, you just have to mess with it until you can get it where you want it. Again, these tools really, really important. This will make things bigger or smaller. You do not want to use this if it's a piece of furniture that your avatar interacts with. If there's any standing spots or actions or poses with a piece of furniture, don't use your resize tool because it will make your avatar get larger or smaller. But this will copy something, so if you've put something on a wall or whatever and you want to copy it, you can use this copy tool and it will make it show up in the same orientation. Like with this one, when I first put it on the wall, I copied it and then I was able to just move it into the spot. I didn't have to turn it and adjust it all over again. I just had to move it where I wanted it. So once you get one the way you want it, if you're going to use it more than once in a room, you can just copy it, and it'll also make it the same size if you've resized it, because this one doesn't have any standing spots. So I can adjust the size on this. I could make it bigger or smaller if I want to, and it won't affect my avatar. Anyway, this is a very handy tool. And just remember to use your control keys and your shift key, and you have to hold those down while you're turning or moving things. That's it.